May Shabbat Shalawam Yashala. Peace be unto the nation Israel, whom are modern day so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and speckled bird Israelites, whom are the Israelite foreigners scattered across the four corners of the earth, including America, Babylon the Great, and you are the Most High, Yahweh's chosen people of the nation Israel. All right. With that, Shema, Yashala, Yahawah, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Chad, Shema, Yashala, Yahawah, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Chad, Shema, Yashala, Yahawah, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Chad. All right, meaning peace, Slakia, meaning Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, Yahawah. All right, in the ancient Hebrew, all right, which is the Heavenly Father, true and only Hebrew name, Bahashem in the name, Hamashiach Yahawashi. All right, the anointed Savior, Barak Kodash, and the Holy Spirit, whom is our strength and our Redeemer, our Lord and our salvation. All right. With that, Mashanah Kabwaitim Lahasakwanim, Shalagatababakah, which is double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the true shepherds of Israel, pushing the sound doctrine of faith, truth, and sincerity, and Shalom, honors, salutations to Bayah Shadawadah, which is the house of David, representing the those whose names written in the holy book of life for salvation. All right, including the 144,000 governing body and the rest of the 1/3 elect men, women, and children in Israel. All right, this is your fellow servant, Malak Rayab, back at it again. All right, with another World War III algorithm edition. All right, dealing with the, the component of these devils, provoked warfare strategies, dealing with the, the idea of, the component of algorithm, or the algorithm of their agenda, going into these problem solving solutions. And our problem is global resistance against their global hegemony, man. Okay, and consisting of these opposing sovereign nations, and mainly the nation of Israel. In which nation of Israel is their only true threat, to their global hegemony. All right, because we operate on the left, on the right hand side, man. Because we are the prophets of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI by Shem Kodash. Okay, so I'm going and preface this this World War III edition. All right. There's this World War III algorithm edition off of a few different subjects, leading up into these last few prophecies of this I'm saying that's within this agenda, okay, including the Charagma, okay, eventually being mandated, okay, by including Harmageddon, man. All right, it's gonna be prefaced off of Greg Abbott's most recently, signed executive order. All right, where people in Texas, don't have to take this snake bite. Okay, all right. Then I'm also gonna cover the Indo-Pacific tensions rising. All right, in regards to the UK and the US. All right, further surveillance in the South China Sea, okay, further infiltrating the territory of the South China Sea, all right, along with China, all right, further, conducting their war games, all right, on the opposing side of the Taiwanese island, okay, in which the U.S. and China are they're further, increasing the tensions between those two top sovereign nations, because the Heavenly Father is ruling, he's controlling their spirits, all right, to eventually lead themselves into war, man. All right, so I'm going to cover these, the update of these Indo-Pacific tensions rising, including Japan and Russia, all right, fighting over that piece of land down there, all right, that the Soviet Union conquered about around the time of World War II, all right, which is the Kuril Islands, okay. During the time of World War II, you had Russia, all right, conquer the Kuril Islands from Japan, all right, and seize those Kuril Islands of Japan, all right, back in 1945, man. Okay, all right, and I'm also going to cover the idea of quote unquote Oktoberfest, all right, in which that actually the idea of Oktoberfest, all right, further goes into the time, all right, where the U.S.'s top major stock market crashes happened in October, all right, back in 1907, the 1929 stock market crash and back in 1987. All right, back in 1987, including when that was a time known as Black Monday. All right, when the Dow dropped 20%. So I'm going to, further correlate, all of these events of secular history. All right, through biblical prophecy, including these last few prophecies that are unfolding, man, that are all interconnected within this World War III algorithm that this devil Esau Edom, is further concocting, man. Okay, to achieve his to seek to achieve his satanic global hegemony. And out of our mouths, this is further edifying to you and exhorting to you, let you come across this video. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off in this first precept. All right, and I'll bring out a couple of articles. All right. So I'm gonna start off in the book of Psalm, chapter 83. All right. Psalm chapter 83, verse 3. All right, and it reads, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Okay, and that crafty counsel is of the satanic global hegemony, man, through the satanic NWO. Okay, that they're using to target Jake, or you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indians. Okay, all right, the poor of this world that are rich in spirit, are rich by way of the sanctification of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI through the Holy Covenant. All right. And then that's why these global leaders are further targeting, Jake, with their agenda. All right, which is why the Lieutenant Texas Governor Dan Patrick said that so-called blacks are supposedly the reason why this pestilence is spreading. Same reason why Cuomo, the former governor of New York, said that so-called blacks and Hispanics need to be on the front line to get this snake bite. You see. Now down there in China, around the time of this pandemic starting, you had I believe there was a McDonald's situation where China was blaming the global pestilence on Jake. You see, so it's not a coincidence that you got China banning cryptocurrency, and then you have you also have you have cryptocurrency. Being compromised down here. All right, because everything is interconnected, man. It's not a coincidence that these things are transpiring the way in which they are, man. All right, and that's why you got this quote unquote October effect. All right, these investors are afraid of this so-called October effect. Okay, because they know that the idea of CBDC is just being used as a further prelude to the Charagma, all right, to the unleashing of the Charagma, man. All right. So you got China down there banning cryptocurrency, all right, and then down here, all right, you got you got cryptocurrency, being used, all right, to further usher in this global hegemony, and that's why the EU came out with a digital plan, all right, to present something called a digital ID wallet, for people to enjoy post-pandemic life. Okay, so it's all a part of this devil's Hegelian dialectic theory, and that's a part of his wine of fornication. But these other nations have been drunk off that wine of fornication. All right, you know what I'm saying? Because everything is interconnected, man. Especially within the internet way of things, including their one of their satanic platforms. All right, known as the cyber polygon. All right. So this is Psalm chapter 83, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. You see, and that's why they have their annual G7 summits. Okay. And these different satanic confederate gatherings where they devise and conspire wickedness, all right, to overthrow the nation of Israel by removing the remembrance of Israel from the planet, man. You see? So China is in on it, Japan is in on it, India is in on it, and that's why regarding the Indo-Pacific, tension is further rising. There was you just had troops of India, all right, hold 2,000 Chinese troops hostage recently, and where China already has tensions around the Indo-Pacific region with America, all right, and her allies, all right. And now you have Japan and Russia going at it, man. Okay, over who is supposed to possess the Kuril Islands that the Soviet Union, conquered, back in 1945 during World War II. All right, so everything is interconnected, man, in the sense of war. All right, because you have these nations that are in on this global hegemony, but they want to put their own twist on it. Like case in point, you have China banning cryptocurrency. Okay, case in point. Then you have this BlackRock. You have the BlackRock CEO by the name of Larry Fink saying that that Bitcoin is worthless and that there's more opportunities in blockchain. Let me go ahead and bring this out real quick on the businessinsider.com. Okay, it says BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said Wednesday he's likely in line with Jamie Dimon's view that Bitcoin is worthless. Salaki for the noise in the background. I'm at a park. All right, so bear with me, Baba Kasha. All right, it says all right, the BlackRock CEO Larry Fink was interviewed on CNBC a day after J.P. Morgan's chief said he still wasn't on board with Bitcoin. Now, why did the J.P. Morgan Chase Bank chief make that comment about Bitcoin? Because he does understand that the CBDC, the central banking digital currency, is just a further avenue, a further prelude, all right, to usher the replacement of these global currencies, man. Why? Because they plan on ushering that Charagma, okay, as a replacement of these global currencies, and that's why they're using the snake bite, as a further justifiable prelude, saying for the Charagma, okay. So this BlackRock CEO Larry Fink went on to say that he does not see big opportunities for consumers in a digitized currency, okay. All right. So how that correlates with China is because China, all right, is in on this global hegemony, but they want to put their own Moabite twist on it. And that's why they wear because they further emulate Esau, because they envy Esau. That's why they put on their they put on their Freemasonic attire, including the Babylonian phallus tie around their neck, because they envy Esau. So they want to use Esau's global hegemonic idea of global totalitarian rulership and dictatorship, all right, by Xing out America from the equation and all of America's constituents, including Australia, and the UK, especially because they just signed the submarine missile deal, all right, on behalf of America with Australia and the UK, okay. And that's what's further increasing those Indo-Pacific tensions, all right, on within the so-called common world, okay. And that's why these nations are going to go to war, because they're not quite mutual on the idea of this global hegemony, okay. And that's why they're looking to eliminate themselves, including China and America, okay. Which is why you just had China. Let me go ahead and bring out a couple of articles on that. Okay, it says China says it carried out beach landing drills in province opposite Taiwan. Okay, so China's military said on Monday it had carried out beach landing and assault drills in a province directly across the sea from Taiwan, though it did not link the exercises to current tensions with Taipei. Okay, democratically ruled Taiwan, claimed by China as its own territory, has complained of stepped up military and political pressure from Beijing to force it to accept Chinese rule, including massed Air Force incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone, because Taiwan is like China's little thought, that's China's former province, dealing with Taiwan. Okay, so that how that ties into these Indo-Pacific tensions, further contributing into this last world's war, Armageddon, in Revelation 16 chapter, finally transpiring, is because these devils, especially on behalf of America, Babylon the Great, continues to interfere with sovereign affairs of their adversaries, man. All right, including the likes of China. Okay, which leads me to the next article. All right, on the RadioFreeAsia.org website, and it says U.S. UK aircraft carriers lead show of naval might around South China Sea. says the race to develop bigger and better aircraft carriers highlights the precarious situation in the South China Sea. Okay, so now you got drills being done around the Philippine Sea, around the Indo-Pacific. Okay, that'll be followed 2 weeks of a large-scale military exercise in South China Sea, which is sending a further message to Beijing, and asserting the freedom, the quote-unquote freedom of navigation in an increasingly tense Indo-Pacific. You see that? So these Indo-Pacific tensions, including the likes of Russia and Japan, being further at odds, all right, is only going to further lead into this last world war, man. That's going to be devastating for mankind, which is why Vladimir Putin referred to this last world war as the hot war. Okay, all right. So they're mutual in the sense of collapsing these currencies, including the petrodollar. Okay, all right, and which is why they're mutual on the aspect of this agenda by collapsing these global currencies. All right, but not quite mutual. All right, because you have Esau, Edom on behalf of America. All right, trying to strong arm these other nations, man. All right, and use this agenda to control everybody. Okay, and that's why China and America are trying to eliminate themselves, man. That's the real reason why America and China are further infiltrating Taiwan, man. Within that's basically a proxy war in itself. Okay, so and then dealing with the so-called these investors, all right, these investors being afraid of this so-called October effect, in regards to in October, within the course of time, October being considered, a high time of, of inflation. All right. Going back to 1907, 1929, and 1987. Okay. Including when back in 1987, there was a $1.7 trillion, 1.7 trillion losses worldwide. Okay. Because why? The riches of this world are moth-eaten, pursuant the book of St. James, the 5th chapter, man, which means what? This global hegemony through the satanic NWO is going to fail. That these nations are confederate with against Israel because they don't want Jake to be involved in their global hegemony, man. But it's going to backfire on them because their devices that they're utilizing, to try to increase their sovereignty is going to further cause them to go to war. Okay, so I'm going to get the next precept. All right, and get the next precept in the book of Psalm 83, verse 5. It says, "For they have consulted together with one consent; they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of the tabernacles of Edom, all right, the so-called white man, all right, and the Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs of Moab, the so-called Chinese and the Hagarenes, all right. So Moab is heavily involved in this last world war, man. Okay, and that's why they're further contributing to the Indo-Pacific tensions down there, all right, including the Taiwanese province. Okay, this is Psalm 83 and 6, verse 7. Gabal and Ammon, the so-called Japanese, okay, heavily involved in this Indo-Pacific tensions, increasing also by way of their quarrel with Russia, which I'm about to further dive into. Okay, because Japan is considered a defensive military. And Japan is America's little bitch, man. Excuse my French. Okay, which further expose the lack of integrity and morality these damn Ammonites, all right, modern day Japanese have, because going to the history of World War II. Okay, not only did they get conquered by America during the siege of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when they got the atomic bombs dropped on them, which resulted in 10,000 or more fatalities of them so-called Japanese. They also got infiltrated by Russia. Okay, all right. They also got infiltrated by Russia. All right, back in World War II in 1945. All right, when they had their Kuril Islands, all right, seized from them by Russia or by the Soviet Union in 1945, and that's why Russia just came out recently, all right, on behalf of the Russian spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, responding to Japan's new foreign minister Fumio Kishida saying that Japan's sovereignty needs to be extended from the Kuril Islands or extended to the Kuril Islands, because they feel that the Kuril Islands that Russia conquered back in World War II belong to Japan, and Russia, on behalf of this Russian spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, responded, by saying that Russia does not agree with that statement on behalf of the new Japan minister Fumio Kishida, and that's why Russia just conducted war games, down there. I'm going to bring that out. All right, and man, because this war is heating up, man. It's not just between America, Iran, America, and China. This is a global war that's further escalating, man. All right. All right, so that's why you just had let me go and get this article on Russia. Okay, Russia's war games down there in the Indo-Pacific. All right, dealing with Japan. Okay, we're going to get that real quick. So this is it says this is on Daily Mail. Okay, it says Russian warships staged show of strength off Japan as a welcome message. A quote-unquote welcome message for Tokyo's new prime minister after he declares sovereignty over disputed islands. It says Russian warships have staged a show of strength in the Sea of Japan after the country's new prime minister laid claim to a chain of islands controlled by Moscow. Okay. It says the Variag, a Russian cruiser and flagship of the Pacific Fleet, took part in the drills alongside anti-submarine destroyer Admiral tributes and 12 support ships on Monday. Okay, and you had RT reporting this too. When you watch one of the most recent RT episodes by my man Rick Sanchez, he further goes into that. Okay, so going back to his article, it says part of the exercise took place inside Japan's economic zone, where military drills are banned under international law. So you just had Russia, violate Japan's international laws of conducting the war games. Why? Because they don't respect them Japanese, man. Especially over their allegiance with America, because Russia knows that they conquered. They were partially responsible for Japan being conquered. All right, in World War II, along with their Edomite counterpart America. So they know that America, all right, destroyed. They brought great destruction upon Japan. So they don't respect them Japanese, man, and that's why, despite Japan's international laws of being against military drills, Russia bypassed that, man. All right, because they feel that them rules don't apply to them. Why? Because because that's the nature of Esau, Edom. Okay, all right, they make laws to break them. So it says likening it to a welcome message for new Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who was sworn in just last week. See? So Russia's Pacific Fleet held those combat drills in the Sea of Japan on Monday, this past Monday, part of which is thought to have taken place in Japan's economic zone. You know what I'm saying? All right, because they have history going back to World War II, and they don't, and them Russians don't respect Japan, just like the Edomites of America don't respect Japan. Okay, just like the Edomites of the UK and Australia don't respect Japan. But meanwhile, you have Japan considered a military, a defensive military, looking to go to bat for these Edomites, man. Okay, and ironically, the Russians, all right, of the Edomite Confederacy, all right, do not have respect for America's ally, which further confirms that this is a satanic empire that's divided and cannot stand, pursuing St. Mark 3rd chapter, man. And that further goes into why these sovereign nations are going to destroy themselves in this last war, man. All right. So this is so I'm going to get the next precept in the book of Sirach. All right, the book of Sirach, chapter 10. All right, starting at verse 14. All right, this is Sirach chapter 10, verse 14. It reads, "The Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI had cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead." So these nations, you know what I'm saying, the kings of these nations, all right, including these sovereign nations, are proud princes, man. all right, i.e. Vladimir Putin of Russia, thinking that Russia that has next, all right, China's Xi Jinping, okay, thinking that China has next, okay, North Korea's Kim Jong-un, okay, thinking that they have next, in which, speaking of Kim Jong-un, okay, he was just in the news recently, all right, of the, I'm about to bring this out on this headline on the Hill, which it says North Korea's Kim notes grim economy while marking anniversary of ruling party. Why? Because North Korea is also on this global hegemony. They just don't see eye to eye with these other sovereign nations, man. All right, including America, Babylon the Great. So it says North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on Sunday warned officials of his country's grim economic state during celebrations to mark the 76th anniversary of the founding of the ruling Workers' Party of Korea. All right. He said the only way for dynamically pushing forward the unprecedented crucial work, despite grim situations, for the entire party to get united. All right. Yeah. So this is a further show of resistance. All right, against the United Nations and America. It says sanctions imposed by the United Nations Security Council should be reviewed and eased when necessary to both facilitate humanitarian and life-saving assistance and to enable the promotion of the right to an adequate standard of living of ordinary citizens. Okay, so that's why they continue to indulge in those military drills, which North Korea has conducted in at least 3 military drills within the last 3 or 4 weeks, man. Let's see. So these tensions are further rise between these nations, man, because they're getting ready to go to war. They're getting ready by shooting them nukes, all right, upon themselves, man. And them nukes can come over to America and leave a bed of destruction here, man. Okay, because the sins of America, Babylon the Great, have reached the heavens. Pursuing Revelation 18:3. Okay, so this is I believe it's Revelation 18:3, Salakia. All right, so getting back to the prophecy, Sirach 10:14. The Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI had cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. All right, because the meek are the nation of Israel, and we're going to rule next, man. Pursuing Psalm chapter 37, verse 11, and Daniel 7:27. It says, Sirach 10:15, the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI had plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. Okay, because we're within a paradigm shift right now, man. Okay, well, these sovereign nations, all right, are being confounded by way of their allegiance with this dragon, man. Okay, trusting in in which they further trust in oppression, man. By trusting in even the smallest aspect of this global hegemony. Okay, it's going to be those devices that's going to further confound them and destroy them. Pursuing Psalm 10:2. Why? Because these devices, all right, were ultimately, of their plot to remove Israel from the equation. Okay, pursuing Psalm 83rd chapter, because they know the prophecies of Israel, all right, being the next ruling nation on the planet. They don't want us to have no part in that, because they're trying to rewrite prophecy. Okay, which is impossible. Because pursuing Isaiah 46:10, the counsel of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is going to stand. Okay, and the counsel of the wicked is going to be for naught, man. So this is back in Sirach 10:16. The Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. And what's ultimately the foundations of the earth consist of, man? Okay, the influence of the wicked carbon cast of the earth, America. Okay, Babylon the Great. All right, so let me go ahead and get that next. All right. All right, so I'm going to get that next in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. All right, this is a book of Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. And it reads, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. You see, the nations are mad, man. Okay, as case in point, why these nations mad? Okay, in that state of frenzy, because they have trusted in oppression. Okay, they believe that they could benefit off of this global hegemony all along. That's why they indulge in geopolitics with this devil, in a sense of international trade. Okay, but now that's compromised now, because why? You have this supply chain crisis, man. Okay, including the fact that most recently, most recently, all right, there's been a global supply chain uh, crisis, all right, around around these major docking ports of America, all right, including down there in California, because California is within the top 10 out of the top 20 major docking ports of America, Babylon the Great, which further confirms that America is Babylon, pursuant to Revelation 18:12, which speaks about the ships of merchandising or merchandise. Because when you look up that Greek word for merchandising, it's gomos, okay, meaning going into freight distribution, okay, in a sense of international trade of these goods and services being distributed, okay. So now you have the global trade market being affected by the supply chain crisis, further affecting the consumer market, man. Which is why you got Costco's and Walmart, all right, bringing back the influx of goods and services that one can purchase from these major supply chains, man. Okay, which is further causing panic buying. Okay, we got people over there. We got people out here fighting for resources, man. All right, because all part of this devil's Hegelian dialectic theory, man. Because this global hegemony was all orchestrated. Okay, in an economic sense, in a geopolitical sense, okay, in a medical sense, okay, especially within a military sense. That's why they're replacing school teachers, what I'm saying, with National Guard personnel. Okay, they're replacing these truck drivers with they're replacing these federal workers with National Guard and military personnel. You see? Okay, why is that? Okay, because these devils study psychology. Okay, the ideology of human behavior, or the study of human behavior. So they know, the effect of people losing their resources, okay, is going to further cause them to spaz out. And their solution for that, of the Hegelian dialectic theory, all right, is to enforce their agenda through their military, man. Okay, and that's why it came out. You know what I'm saying? That much more further. All right, on the Rutherford Institute website, that you got this these snake bite detention camps, okay, being within our future, because this has already been orchestrated, man. We're going to bring out this article, okay, on Rutherford.org. It says, and this is on behalf of this Edomite John Whitehead's commentary. He said, now this is a quote on behalf of John W. Whitehead and Nisha Whitehead on September 28th of this year. All right, the year 2021, the year of the hastening of the coming of our Lord and Savior Hamashiach Yahawashi. So it says, this is a quote by Albert Speer of Nuremberg trials, and he said, no doubt concentration camps were a menace used to keep order. It's no longer a question of whether the government will lock up Americans for defying its mandates, but when. You see, so that's why you have the likes of these sovereign nations like China, and North Korea, China and Russia in on this global hegemony. Okay, they're not mutually in agreement with America with this global hegemony, because they agree with collapsing the economies. Okay, but they want to rely on their own currencies at the end of the day, which means what? These other nations want to have their cake and eat it too, because you have China looking to ban cryptocurrency down there in China on behalf of their central banks. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But they are this agenda is further affecting their sovereignty, so it's going to further lead them into war. See, there's no way around this agenda, man. The effects of this agenda, rather, because it's biting these sovereign nations in the ass. Okay, by way of their wicked satanic intentions of this agenda. Okay, to destroy the righteous and uphold themselves, the proud. Okay, and that's why and going into the word government in a Latin, all right, gubernetti means control or guidance of the mental, all right, meaning mind control. See, and that's why these central bankers are really behind this agenda, all right, and these lower level governments, man, including Russia, China, okay, North Korea, Iran, India, and that's why India and Japan are so heavily involved in these proxy wars, because India and Japan are mutual allies with America, because down there in India they have already implanted their citizens of India with the Charagma, man, and they've been doing that. Okay, down there in China, they got chips and license plates down there, so they're already chipping their citizens, including China. So China's in on it, just not completely, because they want to have their cake, eat it too, and the shit don't work that way. So now they're getting ready to go to war. Okay, so who shall pity a charmer? Who shall pity a charmer when he's bitten by a snake? So you nations, you've been bitten by the snake, Esau, Edom, the dragon, the embodiment of the Roman Empire, modern day America. So now you gotta reap what you sow, which is warfare. Okay. So and that goes into why there's gonna be a civil and domestic war where people are gonna be rounded up and thrown into FEMA camps, man. And it speaks about that here in this article. It says this is what we know: the government has a means, a muscle, and a motivation to detain individuals who resist its orders and do not comply with its mandates in a vast array of prisons, detention centers, and FEMA concentration camps paid for with taxpayer dollars. You see that? You see? So this is a part of the agenda of the devil. Okay, to remove the resistance through their algorithm. Okay, meaning their problem-solving operations. Okay, through their technology, through their propaganda, through their media. Okay, and ultimately through the military totalitarianism. Okay, to enforce their agenda upon the people, man, and eliminate those who oppose their agenda, including China, North Korea, Russia, Iran, and their allies. Okay, you see, so this is all orchestrated, man. So you see, so economically, you see, China is in on it. Okay, so not a coincidence. You got China banning cryptocurrency once again, and then down here, you got a record-breaking 4.3 million Americans quitting their jobs. Okay, in the state in the month of August alone, man. Okay, just in the month of August alone. Okay, because this is all been orchestrated, man. All right, because this these, and especially and that goes into the idea of stagnation. Okay, where you have a lack of economic growth and an increase of unemployment. Because you peep the U.S. debt clock, there's at least 8 million people unemployed, man. All right, and 4.3 million, a record number of 4.3 million people have been have quit their jobs. Okay, as a further effect of this a snake bite, man. Whether it's refusing to take the snake bite, okay, or them being laid off, because of a shortage of business, by the effect of this this global pestilence, all right, further stifling business. You see, the part of this biological warfare is a part of this agenda, man. All right, so this is all orchestrated, man. It's all part of wine and fornication. These nations are drunk off of, man. All right, this is back in Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup of Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken up her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. They're in a frenzy. We look up that word mad. Let's get that word for mad in the Hebrew. Okay, Jeremiah 51 and 7. All right, look at the word for mad. Halal. Okay. All right, so that's that. So it means, all right. So that word there, halal. Okay, let's look that up real quick. Salakia. All right, so just looking up that word for mad. Gone. Gone, man. Gone. So yeah, it means to be in a frenzy-like state of mind. Okay, to be sporadic, essentially. Okay, and that's why these nations are being overzealous with their pursuits of war against themselves, man. Okay, they're getting ready to attack themselves. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen, destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone to his own country. For her judgment reacheth into heaven, and lifted up even to the skies. Okay, so like it says here in Jeremiah 51:9, these other nations are forsaking Babylon. Okay, including some of her own allies, man, including the likes of France. Okay, because you know, France being betrayed by America, going behind France's back and signing that Indo-Pacific submarine nuclear deal with Australia, another EU ally of America. Okay, and that further goes into the prophecy in Revelation 17:16, where the beast is going to eat the flesh of the whore America, Babylon the Great. All right, through these arrows, these thermonuclear ICBM missile warheads, man. Okay, in which all 200 million of them, percent of Revelation 9:16, is going to detonate here in America and destroy this place, leaving besom destruction here, man. That destroying wind of thermonuclear fire and radiation, man. You see, so all you so-called diehard patriots out there, okay, and all you other constituents that believe in this American dream, okay, this dream is gonna fade away, okay, like a drying flower, like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Okay, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening, man, because the clock is ticking, man. Okay, there's not very much time left for this place, man, because ultimately America's gonna be on the wrong end of the stick, you know, regarding the effect of this war. Okay, so I'm going to get this next precept. Okay, I'm going to get this next precept in St. Mark chapter 3. Actually, yeah, St. Mark chapter 3, verse 23. Because even though these nations are going to war, man, they're in cahoots against Israel. All right. And that further confirms that Greg Abbott, the Texas governor Greg Abbott, signing that that executive order where people down here in Texas don't have to take the snake bite. Okay, and that's all just a further showcase of political opposition and theater, because we're not ignorant of these double devices, man. We know that they play good cop, bad cop. They did it with Trump and Biden. Okay, you know, they did it with Gore and George Bush Jr. You see, where that's why my man Lyndon B. Johnson said, I'll have these N-words voting Democrat, because they've used mainly the Democrat side. Okay, they use the Democratic side of things, a political theater in opposition, to prey upon the so-called black community and you so-called indigenous. Okay, so because it's another divide and conquer tactic, man, to further control the opposition, the adversary. And the adversary of Edom, pursuing Amos 1:11, is Jacob. You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. You are the true threat to their global hegemony, and mainly the prophets of Israel, prophesying, the downfall of America, being used by YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI to further tear down the strongholds and stumbling blocks of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, and that's why I look to silence the mouths of the prophets. Okay, because they hate us. That rebukes them in the gate to the noble. Okay, the liberal, the those who no longer be referred to as liberal, pursuant to Isaiah 32:5. Okay, them being no longer considered noble, okay, and upstanding, but rather villainous, vile, profane, okay, a reproach. And that's America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so I'm going to get St. Mark chapter 3. Because case in point, you got the California governor Gavin Newsom saying that you do have to take the snake bite. Then you got which I believe he's a Republican. Then you got Greg Abbott down here in Texas saying you ain't got to take the snake bite. So it's all political theater, man. It's all part of Esau's divide and conquer tactics, man, which he used in a time of Jim Crow. And he's doing the same thing now. Okay. So this is St. Mark chapter 3, verse 23. It says, and he called them unto him and said unto them, Shalakia, Khan. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Okay. So the satanic kingdom cannot stand, man. Okay, all of America's constituents and allies and supporters. Okay, even those who have supported America that are at complete odds with America, including China, because China has been supporting America through international trade. Okay, you know, being in a mutual agreement with America, even in that small aspect, and it's backfiring on them because America is plotting to eliminate China from the equation, hence their infiltration of the province of Taiwan. Okay, by way of the U.S. and the U.K. as of recently that I brought out in that article earlier. Okay, you know, and likewise, you know, and likewise, China. This is St. Mark 23. It's like it's St. Mark 3 and 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. That's the house of the proud, of these proud princes, man. That's why in Proverbs 15 and 25 it says, the house of the proud shall be made desolate, roughly paraphrasing. All these proud princes, man. Okay, they're gonna be destroyed. Okay, because they don't have next to rule. We have next to rule, the nation of Israel, the true kings, priests, and rulers of the earth that they have X'd out of their of the equation. Okay, of this global hegemony. It says, say Mark 3 and 26, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Okay, so who's doing the bidding of Satan? Pursuing that 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter. These Edomites, man, the children of the dark. And they have that wicked foundation of the earth. All right, okay, further, further, increasing iniquity, man. Okay, including the two horns of this whore, America, Babylon the Great. All right, the image of the dragon. Okay, being a pagan, so-called Holy Roman Empire. Further confirms that these Democrats and Republicans are in on this agenda, man. So despite, the California governor, Gavin Newsom, saying you got to take the snake bite, and the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, just signing that executive order yesterday that you don't have to take the snake bite. Further confirms they're in cahoots with each other, man. It's all bullshit, man. Okay, it's all controlled opposition. So this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. And it reads, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, and that's the pagan Roman Empire prophesied in Daniel 7 and 7. Okay, the dreadful and terrible beast empire that had teeth like iron, and that's going into the Romans, the iron weapons that the mighty Roman Empire were using to slay their enemies, man. Okay, by enforcing their wicked agenda upon their enemies. Okay, because the Greeks and the Romans are the same people, and that's why, in the beginning of so-called white supremacy during the Macedonian Empire, okay, when you had the Greeks set up their empire, known as the oligarchy, which their branches of their empire in a political sense was the oligarchy, the monarchy, and democracy. Okay, in the modern day sense, what you got in America, you got the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. It further confirms that America is Greece and Rome all over again. All right, because the Romans, the descendants of the Romans are Edomites, man. Okay, which I brought out in that lesson entitled "America Will Fall Like Rome." Okay, through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So getting back to Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Those two horns represents the political office of this Edomite confederacy. Okay, the plebeians and the patricians, man, the modern day Republicans and Democrats. So Greg Abbott is full of shit, man. See, that's just another way to control Jake. All right, through the government, the control of the mind. Okay. Okay, because their politics is of witchcraft, man. Pursuing Daniel 8 and 25. Okay, Revelation 13 and 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that first beast was the Roman Empire, and that deadly wound was healed during the Renaissance period, man. When these devils came back into power around the late 1300s to mid 1400s. Okay, all right, which was the end of the Dark Ages when Jake was ruling during the time of Septimius Severus. Okay, all right, around the reign of Septimius Severus. All right, and Jake that was ruling during that time, man. Okay, otherwise known as the Byzantine Empire, aka Moors. Okay, predominantly the southern kingdom of Israel, so-called blacks, man. Okay, so that's when that devil Esau, Edom's deadly wound was healed. Okay, when the Edomites came back into power. All right. So this is Revelation 13 and 13. Slakia. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Okay, so the part is the miracles of this devil was what included splitting the atoms, you know, which includes, I believe, 92 protons and electrons, you know, of the thermonuclear fission of this this thermonuclear fire, okay, by way of the main thermonuclear ingredient, uranium, okay, that causes radioactive seismic waves of destruction, man, and thermonuclear heat. You see, and that's why these devils have been placing sanctions on Iran, because Iran has been increasing uranium enrichment, and Iran is a top ally of Russia and China. You know, so this is going to be one hell of a war, man. Okay, you know, as a further result of their economic and geopolitical woes, that's going to further lead into this last world's war, man. Okay, including fire. So I'm going to get the next precept in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4. Okay, back in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 4. And it reads, the noise of a multitude in the mountains. The mountains is symbolic of governments. Okay, and government means mind control. You see, so these platforms and, you know, slash empires of mind control, but then and mainly within these sovereign nations, are going to be destroyed, man. Point blank, period. Okay, i.e., China, America, especially Russia, North Korea, and so forth. All right, because it's not just you so-called white people that got hell to pay when YAHAWAH returns, man, with the angels. Is you other nations too. Pursuing Jeremiah 30 and 6, so like Jeremiah 30 and 16, where you nations had your hand in our downfall, man. It also says in Jeremiah 15:7, okay, in Psalm 83 and 3, because you were part of this confederacy to overtake Jacob, okay. Now you're at odds with each other. You see, so you reap what you sow. Isaiah 13 and 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahawah of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Okay, that's why in the book of St. James 5 and 4, it prophesies, the Lord of the Sabaoth, the Lord of the armies, which is Hamashiach Yahawashi, okay, over the armies of the angels, including the archangel Michael, okay, Michael Allah, okay, because there's going to be a war. There's going to be a war of the realms, not just a war between the nations, man. Because these nations are going to go from fighting each other to fighting Yahawashi and angels, man. Pursuing second Ezra, the 13th chapter, and Revelation, the 19th chapter, man. Okay. Yep. Said Tawan gonna set it off. Yep. Hey, and that's through the spirit. The Tawan prime minister or president, which is a female, said that they're not gonna bow down before China. So they got further division. Why? Because of the effect of the drunkenness of the wine of fornication of America, the Western philosophy of America, further dividing nations, including Moscow from Russia. You see that? You know. So I'm going to get and that includes the modern day king of Assyria. Okay, trying to control the earth's resources, man. All right, so I'm going to get it in which the modern day king of Assyria, which are the modern day Chaldeans, are these central bankers. Okay, looking to control the world through the central banking digital currencies, man. Okay, so I'm going to get Isaiah chapter 10, verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent. And I have removed the bounds of the people and have robbed their treasures. And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. Okay, and they've robbed the treasures of Jerusalem, going back to 70 AD. Okay, going back to 73 AD, going back to the time of the Spanish Inquisition. Okay, these devils have had their hand in our downfall, man. And then that's why to quote this devil here, Henry Kissinger. Okay, when Henry Kissinger said, whoever controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. That's why there's been a energy crisis globally, like down there in China with the coal. Okay, there's been a coal energy crisis down there in China. Okay, there's been an oil crisis down there in the UK where people have been stealing oil. Okay, because everything is interconnected, man. Okay, geopolitically, all right, economically, all right, and militarily and technologically through the internet way of things. Okay, you know, that's why and through the power grid. That's why these devils have the capacity to shut down this power grid. Okay, you know, with the intent in mind to ultimately replace the economic portion of the world through these global currencies with the charagma, man. You see, the micro thing. That's what they plan to do. They plan to implant people with the charagma, man, pursuant to Revelation chapter 13, verses 15 to 18, man. Okay, this is part of this devil's agenda. All right, this is an end game, and that's why. Speaking of power grid, you just had this on blacklisted.com. It says, as Southwest cancels thousands more flights on Monday, Ron Paul opines on the Great Rebellion over snake bite plan dates. Because you just had Southwest Airlines cancel nearly 2,000 flights over the weekend. All right, this past Sunday. Okay, on October 11th, man. You see that? This report on October 11th, but this came out on Sunday. We had Southwest Airlines cancel nearly 2,000 flights over the weekend, blaming the Federal Aviation Administration and inclement weather. Okay, which he devils control. They can try to manipulate the weather through the HARP program down in Alaska anyway. No, because the earth was given to the hands of the wicked, man. He who has sought out to play God on earth, pursuant to Ezekiel 28:2 and 2 Thessalonians 2:4, Esau, Edom. Okay, and that's why the CEO of Southwest Airlines, all right, you know, this came out and said that he's against these snake bite plan dates. Okay, and you know that you know, on behalf of the Southwest Airlines CEO Gary Kelly, saying that he's against making his employees take the snake bite, but President Biden has forced his hand with the federal plan date. You see that? You know, so now the executive order from Sleepy Creepy Joe mandates that all federal employees and all federal contractors, including covering the major airlines, have to have the snake bite by December 8th, and that's causing a lot of Southwest airline employees to quit. Okay, and causing a lot of people globally to quit their jobs, man, because they're refusing to take the snake bite, man. They're prelude to the charagma. Okay, you know, that's for to go into why or how this devil has the capacity to shut down the power grid, because everything once again is interconnected. Okay, so this is back in all right, so back in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 14. And my hand had found a nest, the riches of the people, and as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth, and there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. Verse 15. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? Okay, because the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom, is the weapon of the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side. Okay, pursuing to Psalm 17 and 13. He is his sword on the left-hand side. Okay, and that's why he appointed Esau his blessing through the sword. The modern-day gun, these other modifications of it, including thermonuclear weapons, and, you know, and drones and whatnot. You see, rockets. Okay, because the self-proclaimed white man is a man of sin and some perdition, man. Okay, and he's destroying the earth with his satanic global religion, his global hegemony, man. Okay, and that's he who is reaped down fields, man. Pursuing St. James the 5th chapter and Habakkuk the 2nd chapter. Okay, you know, through his wine. Okay. You know, trying to control everybody's resources. Okay. Which is why there's been a global supply chain crisis, you know, with the influx of cargo containers of these cargo ships, okay, being further lost by way of weather and other factors. All right, mainly by way of this devil orchestrating the influx of these goods and services being distributed, man. Okay, halting the distribution of these goods and services. All right, through these major docking ports. Okay, all right, which is why there's panic buying going on right now because all been orchestrated, man. All right. So this is back in Isaiah 10 and 15. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth it therewith, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it, as if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself as it were no wood? Okay, that's why it says in the book of what's that, Isaiah, speaks about that parable of the clay and the potter. Matter of fact, let me get there real quick. Basically says, let me go ahead and get that real quick. Because the Heavenly Father is the potter and everybody else is the clay. Because the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, is the Father of all spirits. So who dares to challenge the righteous counsel of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI and live to tell about it? Nobody. That's why this devil's going to perish, man. Okay? So this is Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding? Okay. So you got the clay trying to frame the potter. That's why it says in Psalm the 94th chapter, it speaks about the throne of iniquity framing by mischief. Okay. You know, framing by mischief, man. All right. Through these government psyops. Okay. You know, and events of orchestrated events involving their agent provocateurs. Okay, blaming Jake like these shootings that keep happening, man. The shooting down there in St. Joseph's. Okay, the shooting down there in Tennessee. Okay, and that Jake down there in a Texas school, shooting up the school, man. So they can further categorize Jake as a terrorist, man. See. And that's why they're looking to categorize people that refuse to snake bite as terrorists, man. Okay, because all a part of their agenda. Okay, so they can further justify themselves in their heart, but they further boast themselves as an axe, the axe parable in Isaiah 10 and 15, and then this scripture I just read in Isaiah 29 and 16. Okay, to remain the rulers of the darkness of this world, but they're gonna be in for a rude awakening, man, because they don't have very much. They don't have very much longer, man. You know, to put the final touches on their satanic NWO. All right. So this is Psalm chapter 76, verse 12. Okay, Psalm chapter 76, verse 12. And it reads, he shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. All right, including the kings of the east, prophesied in Revelation 16 and 12. Okay, and that's why there's heavy turmoil within the kings of the east, including China, Russia. Okay, the prime minister of the IDF, it's like the Israeli Mossad and IDF. Okay, down there in Palestine, North Korea. Okay, so the kings of the east, all right, are further involved in this Indo-Pacific turmoil, because these tensions arise between the Indo-Pacific region. All right, specifically focusing on that. All right, as of recently, because that further fulfills Revelation 16 and 12. All right, as the path of the kings of the east being prepared. Okay, and that's what and that goes into why in that scripture in Revelation 16 and 12 it mentions how the Euphrates River would dry up. That's why the elder Yashawamba did a video not long ago where the Euphrates River around Syria had dried up, man. Because that's a further omen or ensign that these nations getting ready to go to war. Okay, but the Lord deals with signs pursuing the second Esdras, the 9th chapter. Okay, and other precepts. Okay, so this is the book of Psalm, chapter 110, verse 5. All right, Psalm chapter 110, verse 5. And it reads, all right, Salakia, Psalm chapter 110, verse 5. The Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. And we're within the day of his wrath, man. Okay, with these last few prophecies coming to pass steadfastly. Okay, the day that the nations will be in in a great sense of distress. Pursuing St. Luke, the 21st chapter, around the 25th verse, and St. Luke 21 and 25, where it mentions how the nations will be distressed. Okay, perplexed. Over the effects of this earth being brought down low, trodden down low, man. Then a brink of destruction through heavy commotion, rising tensions between sovereign indifferences between these nations, geopolitically, economically, militarily, and politically. Okay, these nations are greatly distressed and perplexed, man, in these last days, and that's why they're preparing for war against each other. Why? Because YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is a host of that battle, pursuant to Isaiah 13 and 4. So back in Psalm chapter 110, verse 6, he shall judge among the heathen, he shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries, okay, including America, the Golden City, and other countries, including the state of Israel. Okay, they'll be brought upon the brink of destruction, man. All right, for that land being defiled by the Gentiles, pursuing St. Luke the 21st chapter. Okay, so the Lord is going to bring he's globally visiting Earth through his ensigns and plagues, including the greatest of all plagues, the great millstone, man. Okay, that great destruction YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is going to bring through concentrated heat simultaneously, along with thermonuclear destruction and radiation. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back to Isaiah 13 and continue in verse 5. All right, Isaiah chapter 13, verse 5. And it reads, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord YAHAWAH and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Okay, and that's these thermonuclear ICBM warheads. Isaiah 13 and 6. How ye, for the day of the Lord YAHAWAH is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Why? Because this last world's war prophesied in Isaiah 9 and 5 is going to be a battle of it's not going to be a battle of confused noise, but rather of, matter of fact, I'm going to get that. Isaiah 9 and 5. Isaiah 9 and 5 reads, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this last world's war, Hammurabi is going to be a war of fire, man. Thermonuclear fire to be exact, man. Okay, which are the miracles prophesied in Revelation chapter 13, verse 13, that was appointed onto Esau, Edom, to split the atoms and create these atomic weapons. All right, which would further, which would further, all right, intensify within thermonuclear weaponry, capabilities. And that's that fire that's gonna be unleashed from heaven, man. When these ICBM warheads detonate and leave a destroying wind, okay, to unleash upon America, Babylon Great, and that time is coming, man. Okay, that time is coming, man. Because within these perilous times, with these last few prophecies coming to pass, including Hammurabi 1, all right, and the Charagma, Isaiah 13 and right, Isaiah 13 and 9. Behold, the day of YAHAWAH cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened, and his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Why? Because pursuing Joel, the 2nd chapter, and other precepts, these arrows, they're going to be shot across the 4 corners of the earth, with these thermonuclear ICBM missiles are going to cover the heavens, man. Okay, including the ozone layer. Okay, within the first heavens, the sky. Okay, all right, and that's going to be that, and that's going to be those weapons of the Lord YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's indignation is going to destroy this place. Babylon the Great. Isaiah 13 and 11. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay. And all right, the haughty of the terrible is that the most terrible and dreadful empire to ever exist, mainly, which is the image of the pagan Roman Empire. Okay. Pursuing Daniel 7:7 and Isaiah the 13th chapter. And that's America, Babylon the Great. America all over again. It's like Rome all over again. Okay. So I'm going to get this next precept. All right. And I'm going to get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 11. Okay. Bring out a couple more pre's and close down. All right. Jeremiah chapter 50. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 11. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. Verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Like it says in Psalm chapter 109, verse 14, where it says, the sins of thy mother shall not be blotted out. And who's the mother of America? Britain. Because Britain is a part of those 3 unclean spirits prophesied in Revelation 16 and 13 that is majorly contributing to this Edomite confederacy of this global hegemony, all right, to influence the earth into following iniquity, man, all right, and accepting iniquity as if it was righteousness, okay, and that's why the UK, aka Britain, okay, co-signed that Indo-Pacific submarine nuclear deal with Australia, with America. Okay, going behind France's back, further crippling the European relations with their EU allies, and that's what's going to further cause the beast, all right, the EU and NATO members to turn on America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so this is Jeremiah, back in Jeremiah 15:12. Your mother shall be sore confounded; she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Okay, and that's why in Isaiah 34, verses 9 and 10, it prophesies how America is going to be converted into a gigantic wasteland, man. Okay, a memorial, a remembrance of death and destruction by pushing the covenant with death, pursuing Isaiah 28 and 15, which is satanic global hegemonic agenda of Satan. Okay, which opposes the righteous counsel of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, and that's why this place is destined for death and destruction, man. Okay. All right. Jeremiah 50 and 13. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Jeremiah 15:14. Here's the point. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all you that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord Yahweh. Because these nations are going to shoot the arrows upon this place, man, including the likes of Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Turkey, France, Germany, okay, and other nations, man. Okay, so it's going to be overkill what the Lord's going to do to this place. Jeremiah 15:15. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen. And really her foundation is iniquity, sin upon sin. That's why this place is destined for death and destruction. Jeremiah 50 and 15. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, take vengeance upon her, as she had done, do unto her. Verse 16. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handled the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. And that's what North Korea is further doing, for example, you know, which by trying to snap South Korea back into reality, you know, to convince South Korea to stop bowing down before America, okay, and come back home. You see, you know, and that's why North Korea has been further testing off their further conducting their missile drills, because of the economic sanctions that's been further affecting their economy. Okay, in South Korea, their counterpart is further co-signing that. You see, so that's a furtherance of this prophecy too. How these other nations starting to flee to their own land. They're starting to attend and you know, appease their own sovereign vision. Okay, all right, and it's ultimately going to result in these nations turning on America, Babylon the Great, man. Okay, because you know, America is that whore that sits upon many waters, seen at Revelation 17 chapter, and they're going to burn the whore with fire, burning her flesh up with fire. Okay, like it says in Revelation 18:21. Let me go ahead and get that. Okay, Revelation 18:21. All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 21, and it reads, "And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all." Okay, so Babylon the Great is going to be thrown down and shall no more be found at all. Okay, like I said in Jeremiah the 51st chapter, Jeremiah the 50th chapter, how, all right, these nations are gonna be astonished at the plagues of America, Babylon the Great, and hiss at her, and not pass by therewith, because this place is gonna be riddled of thermonuclear missile warheads, man, bringing this place to the brink of destruction. Okay, of this great millstone, this great destruction of the concentrated heat of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, and these hailstones. Okay, like it says in Revelation 16:21. Okay, these great hailstones. Okay, you know, weighing a great talent. Okay, which goes into the weight of these ICBM missiles, weighing a ton. Okay, those heavy stones of these ICBM arrows, man, bringing great destruction upon this place, and that's what America has to look forward to. Okay, so I'm going to end this off in Isaiah 34, starting at verse 4. All right, Isaiah chapter 34. All right, start at verse 4. It's like at verse 9. Isaiah 34:9, and the streams thereof, from the top, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Verse 10, it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. So America, Babylon the Great, is going to burn for a great time before this place is eventually converted to a gigantic wasteland, man, of pitch, okay, dust. You know, going to Isaiah the 47th chapter, it says, sit down. You know what I'm saying? It mentions Isaiah the 47th chapter, man, about Babylon the Great sitting down in the dust. Okay, all right, you know, becoming nothing, man. Okay, becoming a wasteland, a desolation. Okay, becoming a shame, a reproach to her enemies. And that's what this place has to look forward to. All right, and within a time of the America's destruction, pursuing 1 Peter 4:18. Okay, and what's that? First Peter 4:18, where the elect are going to scarcely be saved from the destruction of America, man, Babylon the Great, in these last days, man. Okay, and within the chambers of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, pursuing Isaiah 26:20. Okay, all right, pursuing 1 Thessalonians 4:16 to verse 17, where we're going to be with YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI in the clouds, man, and the chariots, before we're taken back home to Jerusalem, the mother of us all. Okay, so I'm going to end it off there. Okay, and I pray this lesson was for the edifying and exhorting to elect, all right, who came through and who will come across this video. With that, above the ball, DTA, Kwame Yashala, All right. Shalawam to the elect, and on to the next one.